In 2019, the largest university admission scandal ever occurred. These are people who are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their kids into top schools. And then there's you. You're likely a high school student or soon to be a high school student with dreams of getting into a top university. And the more reaction videos you see, the more you hear upperclassmen getting accepted, the more you sit there and wonder. The game is rigged. These people must be lucky. They must be genius. They must be rich. Success is not possible. It always has been. They don't want me. But what if I told you there is a way to get it? A set of secret strategies you can apply into your own life to give you that edge that you need in order to get into your dream university. And I know that it's possible because I was once like you. I was once a high school student, and I know how it feels to face seemingly impossible odds in your university application process. I mean, I'm an international student who started off with below average grades, basically nothing for extracurriculars, and then used these strategies in order to get into my dream university of the Wharton UPenn engineering program, which is extremely selective. But throughout this experience, there were many epiphanies that I had to learn the hard way. And no matter where you are in your application process right now, you can implement these strategies in order to dramatically increase the likelihood of you getting accepted into your dream university. But I must warn you that the journey to the top of the mountain is filled with obstacles, setbacks, and tests that will crush you to see if you're worthy of the ultimate university achievement goal. So, are you ready to discover the truth? My goal with this video and the following videos is for these to be the most valuable videos you've ever seen on this topic. This is not your average tip video that you see once and then you just forget about your topic. No, this is a video that teaches you a completely different mindset shift that you can apply to all aspects of your university admission process and your life. And the reason why I say this is because I want you to walk away from this and get results, quantifiable results. And I do that by giving you a video of elite quality, effort, and content. And I do this because I actually care about my viewer. I care about your success and I want you to succeed. So as a bonus to completely over deliver with this video, I'm going to be offering 2 to 3 Easter eggs throughout this video. Essentially, these Easter eggs are passwords, so to say, that you insert in the link in the description down below. And when you do that, you get these cheat sheets that contain dense information that you can apply into your own life to take these strategies to the next level. Let's do it. Let's begin by taking the first few steps up the mountain. These first few steps come from an epiphany that completely changed my life. All right, let me explain. This all started back somewhere when I was 13 to 14 years old, where I wanted to get into a top university. However, I had a problem. The problem was that my grades weren't particularly high, and more specific than that, they were below average. It was likely a combination of the fact that school was never a strong subject of mine, as proven by this IQ test, and the fact that I had way too many extracurricular commitments outside of school. And despite the setback that I thought these grades gave me, I would argue that they were actually one of my greatest advantages. Why is that? Because instead of focusing on grades like all of my other friends, I had really no other choice other than focus on my most important outside of school extracurriculars. My original thinking was that I'd sometime in the future, maybe 10, 11, or 12th grade, I'd get my grades up. But in the meantime, I could focus on developing my wow factor because that's what I thought would differentiate me the most. That's when I started thinking of something I could make that would change the world. I was thinking big, like on the scale of the iPhone. Because if I knew if I created something like the iPhone, any university would just let me in, regardless of my grades. So in late 2017, I started researching ways that I could create a revolutionary wow factor. So what did I do? I focused in on the one thing that I was interested in. And interestingly enough, that one thing was actually education. Because despite disliking school, I loved learning. I loved improving my skills. I loved becoming a better version of myself every single day. And that right there, what I just said was the key epiphany that I had that changed my perspective and my overall success on university admissions. Because it's ultimately going to be the one thing that matters, the one thing that gives you the majority of your results. And this right here is the biggest mistake I see high schoolers make when applying to universities. And before I fully reveal what that is, what you need to understand is that universities, more than anything, are looking for a well-rounded class. not well-rounded students. They want a well-rounded elite class of students where every single student is the best at one thing. So what does that mean for you? That means that you need to have one thing that makes you known. One thing that the university can point towards and say, yes, he is the best. He will represent this class as the best person in this one thing. I found that my one thing was educational technology. That was me. And after that, I realized that every single thing I did, whether that was writing an essay, choosing extracurriculars, or getting letters of recommendation, they all needed to somehow support that one thing. All of these things needed to somehow support and give proof that the thing I'm the best in the world at, or I will become the best in the world at, is educational technology. And not only did I know that I would become the best, because I was spending all this time learning and doing it and whatnot, but every single thing that I did reflected that. So when the university saw my application, when they saw the letters, the recommendation, and everything else that came with it, they could easily identify that this was the one thing that I would become specialized in the overall class. So what I want you to do right now is to pause the video and write down 1 to 2 words what your one thing will be. Notice that this isn't some tips and tricks on to get into top universities. Instead, this is a completely different mindset shift as to how you approach high school and university admissions. So your one thing might be dance, or your one thing might be climate technology. Whatever the case may be, you need to own it, and then you need to have every single part of your application reflect that. And if you don't know what that one thing is so far, that's okay. You still have time to plan out your entire high school strategy, your entire university applications and whatnot, so that they reflect that one thing. And let's say you're a junior and you're about to graduate and you don't have that much time to prepare and whatnot. What I suggest you do is look back at everything you've done in the past and then ask yourself, how can I create a narrative behind everything that I've done so that I can somehow reflect one thing that I'm the best in the world at? And what you need to remember is that top university applicants, they're excellent storytellers. Now, if you think that you have multiple different things that you're the best in the world at, I urge you to cut down. This is essential for university and lifelong high achievement. Remember that universities want the person who's going to become the best in the world at one thing. And if you want to become the best in the world at something, you need to become the best in the world at one thing and one thing only. 2 things max at the upper limit. And if you want to become the best in the world at something, the reason why you need to focus in on only one thing is twofold. The first of which is time. And more specifically, that time is a constant, meaning that you cannot get any more time. No person on the planet, no ethnicity, no sexuality, no race, no religion, nothing can give a person more time. We all have the same 24 hours, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. We all have that same amount of time. And the second thing you need to understand is that success is not linear, as most people think. Instead, true excellence, true elite, ultra high achievement is exponential. And graphically, it works a little bit like this. When you have 3 passions, you get some results, but not much of anything because you have yet to reach the exponential level of growth. Meanwhile, when you only focus in on one thing and you have one thing, you get disproportionate levels of return. Notice that it's the same amount of time, but you're getting disproportionately more results. And this graph right here became very clear to me when I was watching the Masters in 2019 with my family. I remember watching it with my family, and it's revealed at the end that Tiger Woods ends up winning the entire competition by 1 or 2 points. And then the TV went on to show a list of everyone who's won from number 1 to number 10. At that moment, something shocked me because as I looked from the 1st place to the 10th place, I saw that the difference between these 2 people was only a fraction of the points. In other words, Tiger Woods is just marginally better than the person in 10th place. He's not by any means 10 times better or disproportionately better. He's just a little, just a marginally amount better. Yet, I'm willing to bet that Tiger Woods does not make marginally more amount of money than number 10. And the reason why is because I had no idea who that number 10 was. So I then went up and searched it up and found that Tiger Woods is actually a billionaire, while the number 10, which is R. Fowler, is a multimillionaire. And if you end up doing the math on the net worth of the 2 people, as of right now, Tiger Woods makes 42.5 times as much monetary output than 10th place R. Fowler. And I'll say this again, Tiger Woods is not 42.5 times better. In other words, the relationship here isn't linear at all. In fact, Tiger Woods is only a fraction better, but he gets disproportionately more results. Which is why if you look at this curve again, by moving just a little bit on the x-axis, you get disproportionate results on the y. So the point I'm trying to make here is how a small, tiny increase in results at the tippy top of the food chain of success can lead to disproportionate gains in overall results. And the only way to truly see this exponential difference is to become the best in that field, which can only be done by focusing in on your one thing. Simply because, for rule number one, that time is constant. There is no time to focus in on something else, because if you don't focus in on that one thing, instead you diverge your energy on multiple different projects or hobbies or things you want to become the best in the world at, you're not going to have that time to become marginally better at the tippy top. That is then going to give you that exponential return on investment. That right there is what most people don't understand. So the lesson is, don't think that you can become the best in the world at multiple things. It's not what the university wants, and it will not help you become ultra successful in the future. Instead, pick one thing that you're going to become the best in the world at, and let the university know that one thing is your specialty. Now, we've only hit the iceberg in exploring elite university admission success. And whether you realize it or not, this module right here is the most important of the entire video training series. Because this right here sets up the mindset for you to approach everything else that follows. Go ahead and watch the next video in the series, which you can find in the description down below or in my channel. And there I'm going to discuss the most important application secret that nobody tells you that you need in order to overcome your competition. I learned this secret while overcoming a dangerous bet as the largest underdog in my high school, despite everyone trying to tear me down. And until then, stay productive. I'll see you in the next episode.